Hello everyone, welcome back to the second part of the ethical hacking series. And in the previous video, I showed you how to build your first ethical hacking lab, whereby we are able to install some of the machines that we need for the first few stages of the ethical hacking series. And in that video, we're able to install a target machine that we are going to be using to conduct our penetration testing. We installed the Kali Linux operating system. I showed you how to set up a Windows machine in VirtualBox. So this was the initial lab that we built in the previous video. So in today's video, I want us to look at the first step that is involved when it comes to penetration testing. As you can see, we have this diagram here explaining the 5 phases of ethical hacking. And in this series, we are going to cover all the 5 phases. So today we'll start with the first phase, which is reconnaissance. Here we'll be looking at how we can gather information about our targets. Reconnaissance is a set of process and techniques that are used to uncover and collect information about your target. This is a very crucial stage when it comes to ethical hacking, because you cannot be able to conduct a test on a machine that you don't understand how it's built or what services are running on that machine. You need to obtain something like an IP address or a domain name so that even you can start to scan that particular device or website or web server. So you find that in reconnaissance, we usually try to gather initial information. You can also determine the network range, how large the network is. You can also identify the devices that are active on that particular network. Then you can also scan for ports that are open and which services are running on those particular ports. You can also do something called OS fingerprinting, whereby you are able to detect what type of operating system the machines connected to that network or the machine that is hosting that particular website is running on. We usually have 2 types of reconnaissance, whereby we have active reconnaissance and then we have passive reconnaissance. And in this video, I'm going to explain what each type means, and I'll demonstrate using practical guides to show you how you can conduct both types of reconnaissance. Passive reconnaissance is the process where you don't directly connect to the computer or you don't directly interact with the target machine. So this process is used to gather essential information without interacting with that particular machine. So you find that during this stage, a tester or an attacker might want to gain information such as domain name, IP addresses, namespaces, employee information, phone numbers, email addresses, and job information. So you find that most of this information is usually publicly available, and you find that they don't need to interact with that machine to get this information, because either the organization or the target has displayed those information online. So we usually have different tools that we can use to conduct this type of test. We have tools like Whois, Shodan, NS Lookup, Netcraft, Wayback Machine, and another one which is a browser extension called the Wappalyzer. I'll be going through each tool so that we can see how we can use it to gather publicly available information. And the other part of reconnaissance is active reconnaissance, whereby basically you're interacting directly with the target. So at this point, I assume that you already have an IP address or a domain name that you can use to scan that particular device or scan that network, and you'll be able to get information such as services running on that machine. And you can also do OS fingerprinting to get the operating systems of those devices. And also, you can be able to know what technologies are running on a web server in case you are scanning a web server. In this stage is whereby we use tools that can do port scanning, they can do OS detection, they can do network enumeration. I'll be demonstrating some of the tools. For example, we'll be looking at Nmap, and we can be able to identify how we can be able to scan this network. I want us to jump to the practical part whereby I'll be able to demonstrate how we can use these tools to gather information that is either publicly available and also information that we get after interacting with the target. So in this video, we'll be covering the passive reconnaissance part. And in the next video, which is the second part, we'll be covering the active reconnaissance part. So all you need for this part is just a browser. Most of the tools that you're going to use are web-based. So in this part, we are going to use a browser. You can just use your normal Windows browser. I'll jump to the first tool that you're going to use, which is Whois. So Whois is used to get information about a domain. So we'll get information like the domain owner, the register, and the dates, and so on. So I'm going to click the first link. And right here, you can provide the domain that you want to search. So what I want to search is hack this site.org. I just want to use websites that have been set up for these types of research and all that. I don't want to use real websites because I don't have permission to access information about those websites. So we are going to use websites that are created for ethical hacking purposes. As you can see, we have this website called Hack This Site. It's a website that is there for you to conduct web application pen test. In case you want to play around with web application pen test, you can use this site and many others that are available. So I'll be doing a Whois lookup on that particular site. Okay, you can see it was registered in 2003. It expires in 2026-08. Okay, it expires in 2026 at this particular month, at this particular date, and it was last updated in 2025. So basically, you can see all the information. You can see the register who registered this particular domain. Okay, the other tool that we can use to do the same thing and also find subdomains. So what you have seen here, it's what we call DNS records. So these are DNS records, and also DNS Dumpster can help you to identify DNS records and also find subdomains of a particular website. So I'm just going to copy that website again. Then I'll come here and then I'm going to paste that link to that website. Then I'm going to click Start Testing. Okay, I have to remove the HTTP. Then I'm going to say Start Testing. As you can see, we get even visual representation about that particular website. We have the system locations, we have the hosting/network, then we have the service banners. And down here, you can see we get a list of subdomains that are associated to that particular website. Okay, so it's a very long list. So if you want to get subdomains, and you can also see we get IP addresses of the, I think it's the web servers. Okay. And you can also download all that information in XLSX format. And down here, we get a neat map or a neat overview of how the website looks like. You can see we get a diagram here. So I'm going to zoom out so that you can see the entire diagram. Yeah. So basically, DNS Dumpster will allow you to get not only DNS records, but also the subdomains and IP addresses of your target system. Okay, the other website that I want us to look at is called CRT.sh. So CRT.sh is a certificate transparency log search tool that allows users to find SSL and TSL certificate issued for a specific domain for or an organization. So using the CRT.sh tool, you can be able to search for certificate by domain names, organization names, SHA-1 fingerprinting, SHA-256 fingerprinting, and all that. You can also monitor the certificate logs. For example, you can see the list of the expired certificates and the new certificates. You can also use it to do subdomain discovery, and you can also use it to do historical certificate data, whereby you can access historical certificate of that particular website. Okay, so this is the website. This is how it looks like. So I'm going to paste the link to the Hack This Site website. I've said we are going to use that for this practical. And okay, I think I have to remove this HTTPS also. Okay, Yeah, so hackthisite.org, then search. And as you can see, we get a list of all the certificates that this particular domain has gotten in the past several years that that website has been active or online. Okay, if I scroll down, you can see we have records for 2025. If we continue, you can see we have records for 2024. If I keep scrolling down and so on, you're going to see more records of the previous certificates. If you want to understand which certificates a website has had or has, you can use the CRT.sh. So the first group of tools, they are mostly web-based tools. For example, the Whois. Okay, we have a Whois tool inside Kali Linux, but you can also use the website. We have DNS Dumpster, and then we have the CRT.sh. So all of these are web applications or websites that can be used to gather publicly available information. I'm going to jump to my Kali Linux because the next set of tools will have to be inside our Kali Linux machine. So the next set of tools that I want us to look at is email enumeration. And we have a specific tool that we can use to do email enumeration, which is called the harvester. The harvester, you can be able to identify email subdomains and names of a particular target. So the harvester comes pre-installed on Kali Linux. So if I jump back to my Kali Linux, you can be able to see we have the harvester, and I want us to use the harvester to be able to see what type of information we can be able to get about our target, which is hackthisite.org. So what I'm going to do, you can see this is the help menu of the harvester. In case you want me to do a detailed dive into these tools, make sure you drop that suggestion in the comment section and I'll be able to do that. So for the harvester, you have to use the harvester, then -d for the domain. Then you are going to say hackthisite.org. Then we have to give it the length. Okay. If I come up here, yeah, we have to give it the limit to the number of searches. So the default number of searches is 500. So just give it like 100, and then I'm going to give -b for -b is for the source. Where do I want it to start searching from? So can use Google. Don't know if it's going to work. Most of the time the Google one doesn't work, so we'll have to maybe use something like DuckDuckGo. What we get, yeah, as you can see, I get an invalid source. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to say DuckDuckGo. And as you can see, I'm getting results. I don't know why the Google one doesn't work. If anyone knows the reason, maybe you can drop it in the comment section. But if you use the DuckDuckGo, you'll be able to see it will start scanning. Okay, so you can see it was not able to find any email addresses or people, but it was able to find 4 hosts. As you can see here, we get the subdomains of that particular website. Lastly, the other tool that I want to show you, they are tools that are used to do web profiling, or in short, they are able to identify what type of languages or what type of technology is running on a website. So I'll just jump back to my browser. Okay, we're inside the Kali Linux documentation page, and if I click here, you can see I'm able to see the technologies that are running on that particular website. So I'll just go back to our target website, and as you can see, I'm able to see the types of technologies that are running on that particular machine. So we have Wappalyzer. So as you can see, Wappalyzer not only has a web extension, it also has a website. So you can see we have the technologies that are running on the Wappalyzer website. It not only has a browser extension, it also has a website whereby you can be able to type the URL of the website that you want to see the technologies running on that site. Another tool we can use is Built With. So it also does the same thing. And lastly, we have WhatWeb, which can also do the same thing. I think we have WhatWeb in our Kali Linux machine. So if I jump back to my Kali Linux and I say WhatWeb, yeah, I think it's pre-installed. Then I can say hack this site. And it will be able to give us a list of technologies that are running on that side. So that's it for the first part of the passive reconnaissance. I don't want to make the video long. I'll provide a new part, or the second part of the reconnaissance stage, whereby we'll be looking at active reconnaissance. For that, it's a bit long because I would love to explain multiple tools, or I can just divide each tool into its own part, because I can do a detailed dive about each tool. For example, we can have a detailed dive of Nmap, whereby we can be able to learn Nmap from start to finish. We can start with the basic scanning, then we can move up to advanced scanning, whereby we can use scripts to also scan for vulnerabilities. If that's something that you'd like to see, make sure you tell me about that. So I think we have come to the end of this video. I'll be creating a second part, so make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification icon so that you don't miss the second part. That's it for today. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.